This is the house that Kamurai built. Time to get started.
Welcome to the house the Kamurai built. I am Kamurai, and this is a recap of day 3 of VidCon. What a great way to start the con day for this. I was trying to decide between 4 different panels. I don't care what the other 3 are anymore. But I was like, well, let's do this one. Not only does it have a low number, but it sounds the most interesting for real. And I got in there, and I had forgotten that Vihart was part of it. I was like, oh, wonderful, I'm going to enjoy this panel. It doesn't matter what happens. Because she is such a smart, collected lady. I truly admire and jealous, even, of her abilities. And the fact that she has taken her brain and put it towards this is amazing. Along with the rest of the EleVR team, that's EleVR. They have a website, EleVR.com. Check it out. Please check it out. They're doing wonderful, amazing things, researching 360 camera technology, which I hadn't really done any research into, trying to think of things like to use for it, and immediately what I came up with was putting it on the table and recording conversations for like a sitcom, where like the two characters are having a conversation and the camera is playing the part of you, so that you have the freedom to look around during the conversation. There's so many things that you could do with that. They're intensive because, let's be honest, when you're filming like this, you're filming X amount of degrees up or down and left to right. But when you're filming 360 video, it's 360 by 360, so the permutations are just that much more. And I keep bleeding back to video games because the idea of doing 3D virtual reality in video games is so intriguing, and then doing it for interactive movies is even more. Where like you essentially have a movie, like a scene from a movie, let's say, but you're able to move the camera around all the characters and look at the backgrounds and whatnot. I would still limit where the camera can go, like how far away from the conversation and whatnot. So much. It's so exciting, it really is. And the Rico Thetas are what I'm most interested in right now. And supposedly, like, the current version is low res and inferior, but this is from people who have been researching with all the different products. They have access to the more expensive things. So the Rico Theta may just be great. Mark W. Gray pulled one out. He didn't explain as much as it was. He's just like, oh, it's the 3D camera. I was just like, ooh. And I looked at it for a little bit, but like there's not much to see while it's filming. You have to get it filmed and get it into the editor and a player to get the experience from it. They handed out Rico Thetas to play with to record the 3 minutes of video that came by default. You can firmware it up to 5, but we didn't have those. Which I thought was amazing, and so I was like, oh, they must have this covered, they're watching The Doors, whatever, so I just didn't think about it past that. So we wanted to play with like motion in 3D, because that seemed the most intriguing, and scale. So like we put it up on the table, we put it in between 2 GoPros that were sitting there, so that, and then we forced it to look around by spinning it. We attached it to a stick to do the virtual thing. So we actually filmed it upside down. So we had it like look around on the table, and then we had it jump off like to a suicide drop. We stopped like right above the ground, pulled it back up. We did a pendulum swing. We dropped it into a bag for a little bit. We spun it inside there, pulled it back out, and then we flipped it right side up. So I think if they flip the footage so that it ends up starting right side up, I think it'll be more interesting than the other way around. But they wanted to see what we ended up doing with it. They're going to post it online. I think it's youtube.com/EleVR. We're really looking forward to seeing that, but who knows when the fuck they're going to get around to that. They're busy people as it is, and then they're going to add this. So, but Vihart was kind enough to take a picture with me. I guess I was sitting there being creepy. I was truly excited to meet her. And it went a lot better than last year. I was going to sit on 360 VR content for video games. I feel like I missed out on that 360 VR content, but I lucked out because after I was done hanging out with EleVR, meeting all those wonderful people, seriously, they were all great. I ended up wandering towards the ballroom to see like when the keynote was going to start lining up, And I guess I got there right before the line started, because there was just a couple pockets of people sitting around, and I recognized somebody, so I was like, oh, hey, what's up, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, I turn around, like, about halfway through our conversation, I'm like, there's a huge line behind me. So I ended up in the front row for the creator keynote, which was a really weird experience. Like, obviously you need to be in the ballroom for that, but it was just a really weird experience, because my experience in thought process on keynotes is that, like, it's a big speech type thing. You might have a couple guest speakers, but it's mainly going to be like a keynote speaker giving a pointed lecture about either a particular topic or the convention as a whole, quickly where we've been, quickly what we're doing, and then where it's going to go in the future. It was just kind of like a rotating inspirational speech. The most powerful of which by far was Anaconda, stole the show. More powerful than anything Bernie even said to me, honestly, with, I'm a fucking ghost! For whatever reason, I blanked, and I thought I didn't have it 2 o'clock, so I ended up taking a break. I came back to the hotel and rested for a minute. That was the ice cream sandwich that I never should have ate. I wanted to sit in on how to do YouTube part-time, I really did, but I was late. I don't remember why. The 30 seconds or less thing was really weird. I don't even remember which one's the 30-second video. Maybe that's Instagram. But, like, there was a couple Viners there, and then I think one Instagram guy. I think that's what it was. I think it was 2 Viners, an Instagram guy, and then the moderator. I don't remember what she did because I missed the intros. But it was basically them saying they don't know how to do long-form video. They know how to do short-form video. And I don't mean to disparage what they do by any means, because I don't know if I can do it. That's why I wanted to sit down on the panel to see if, like, they had tips for how to do it. And it seemed to be less talking about how to do it and just what the differences are and how they can't do long form video. But I got out of there, and then I went downstairs, and I ran into Mark on our way, and I was just like, oh, hey, Mark. And he's like, oh, hey, Chris. And so we walked in together, but, like, he was tired and, like, he had to get prepped for the show. So I went and I made sure I said hi, and I said hi to Ray. I met Greg, and I think I offended Greg because I was like, oh, hey, what do you do? And, like, he's like, oh, I'm in charge of our social media stuff, or emerging media. And I was like, oh, so if, like, I tweet at you or I tweet at you guys and you call me a dick, like, that'd be you? And he's like, no, that would be Allie, and she would never do that because she's so nice. And I was like, oh, I was just trying to be funny. Which, if you know me, I'm not funny. I maintain that I'm not funny. But it doesn't stop me from trying on occasionally, because I like to have a good time. And I apparently offended Greg. So that was the last official thing. I went down there to watch Daily Dot for Fire Talk. And Mark actually had lots of good guests. He's no schlub when it comes to interviewing and whatnot, especially these bigger YouTubers and whatnot. And Rebecca Black, like, it doesn't matter if I respect her or not. It doesn't matter what I think of her. And she seems like a nice enough girl. I'll give her that. I'm just not a fan of her stuff. And that's fine, because she has millions of other fans. And she'll get on, and I'll get on, and we can both be happy. Okay, so yeah, after that, I went and got a little bit of food. I went back to I ended up hanging out with this guy I met. I think his name's Matt, in a wheelchair. I accidentally almost sat on him. Just because how the wheelchair was and how everything was positioned. So I felt bad about that. So I started joking with him. We had a good time talking. And I felt bad because I was eating my food in front of him, so he let him order. And he's like, I'm going to go call up these people. And I thought about it, and I was like, no, I need to go back to the room for a minute. And I needed to get off my legs for a bit and make sure I have internet access. And then, like, I went out and I met Mark, and we had a great time talking, walking around, and just having a great conversation. So great to finally meet him in person. And like, continuing kind of what I was talking about with Tesla, like, I've got social anxiety issues, like, on different levels. Mostly it's that I don't like to bother people, and I don't really care what most people think of me. There's a very small list of people I care about at all, what they think about me, and then there's an even smaller list of people I really care, and most of those are pretty girls. And that's mostly just because I don't want to be, like, biologically, I don't want to be embarrassed in front of a potential mate. Super great. I found out, like, I've actually been conversed about. Even just saying it now is kind of weird, but I don't feel bad about it. It's the first time I think ever I've ever heard anyone tell me they talked about me in third person and not felt like anxiety. There was actually it was like this wave of good feeling that I didn't feel that anxiety. But Mark had other things to go to. It was so kind of him to give me as much time as he did. And I'm not just blowing smoke up his ass. He's not gonna watch this. Went into that. I went looking around, and there's a problem being an adult at VidCon, especially when you don't drink. Because if you're an adult at VidCon, you just hit the bars, or you escort your friggin' kids. Because there was not enough of that going on. Because there was some very obvious kids that were not escorted when they should have been. But to the credit, there were plenty of parents in the stands who were there just like, oh, fucking, when does it end? Props to them. I should have talked up a couple of them because there were a couple ladies that were giving me like a weird eye for when I walked in there. I ended up just walking around like for a minute. I walked over there just to kind of see what the scene was. I wanted to go in and see what they were playing. While We the Kings were there was like a line around the building. It was insane, and I didn't see that last year because I was at the front of the line. So I was just walking around. So I went there, and then I walked back, and then I was like, I was looking at the hashtag VidCon 2015. I was talking to a couple people here and there. Because unless you want to party with like little teens in high school that shouldn't be drinking anyways, it's your options are limited. I was like, oh, let me finally hit the pool. Pool closed. Like as I was trying to ask about it, and I was like, so the pool closed. I don't drink. So I wanted to get pancakes because those IHOP banana pudding pancakes are fantastic. But they're really heavy, so if you're eating them with the rest of the meal, it can be a problem. So I wanted 3 pancakes, but IHOP doesn't do 3s for whatever reason. I did 2 with the banana pudding icing or whatever, and I did 2 with the boysenberry, which is the best syrup, in my opinion. I did see some kids that were talking about how VidCon inspired them, and like one girl was like, it really inspires me, but it's impossible, and the other girl was like, it's not inspiring at all, I don't want to deal with that. So I went and talked to them real quick, and like it seemed appreciative. I think they were just being nice, but I was like, it's not impossible, you just have to do it. And if you're having trouble, all you have to do is just go back and make the worst video possible. Like, just be horrible, re-upload your first one if that helps you, and that resets your bar. Because all you have to do is be better than the last time, or even or better. So as long as because if you're doing better than that, then you can feel good about yourself again. If you're having that problem. And the other girl, that tiny glass girl, I was like, well, if you really feel that way and you don't want the fame, but you'd still really want to do YouTube videos, because that was her point, because I sympathized. Like, I don't care about being in front of the camera, but it's not like oh, I don't want to be recognized everywhere and have people fawning over me. It's not a goal. But I was like, team up with one of your idiot friends, and I pointed at the other girl, and then learn the editing side, learn the technical side. Be involved, but you don't necessarily have to be the front runner. That's my point. Yeah, so I ended up walking back to my op, and I just made a big lap, and I ran into this girl, Emily, that I ran into with Lawrence when we were walking around. Again, she was chaperoning a younger YouTuber, but I was talking to the chaperone, Emily, and like it seemed to actually get on some good philosophical ideals. We seem to have some shared points, some major differences as well, but she was an interesting person, was my. Until you see me next time, I am Kamurai. Have a nice day. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels.